Honourable members, thank you for the opportunity to appear before the Standing Committee on Environment and Sustainable Development. I'm a professor of Law Emerita at the University of British Columbia, and I'm principal co-investigator of the Canada Climate Law Initiative, or CCLI. And it's a collaboration of the law faculties at UBC and York University that analyzes the legal obligations of corporate directors and pension fiduciaries to manage climate-related risks and opportunities. We publish sector guidance working closely with national industry organizations, for example, in real estate and mining, etc. We have 70 Canadian climate governance experts who are comprised of CEOs, accountants, actuaries, lawyers, and others who volunteer their time to give presentations to corporate boards on effective climate governance. The importance of this committee's work, I think, cannot be overstated. You've already heard evidence about the devastating economic impacts of climate change, including that last year alone, climate-related events in communities across Canada cost more than $3.5 billion in insured damage. So ensuring that we have the policies to mitigate future harms and transition to a more sustainable economy is something I think that we can all agree on, regardless of political affiliation. So first I want to just applaud, the CCL applauds the Office of the Superintendent of Financial Institutions, OSFI, for its guideline B15, Climate Risk Management. I think it sets out key governance requirements for more than 400 federally regulated financial institutions. And this guidance, which was undertaken after extensive consultation with the financial sector, sets the benchmark, I think, for what federal policy could achieve. And that is creating transparency, integrity, and certainty in the financial system. So CCLI believes that 3 additional federal policies are necessary to protect the Canadian economy. The first is to amend the Canada Business Corporations Act and or its regulations, CBCA. And since we submitted our opening statement, of course, there's been an announcement that the government will move forward to enact legislation to require the largest Canadian companies to disclose climate plans. I think for us, what's important really is to make sure that financial statements include a transition plan to reach Canada's climate goals no later than 2050, with 5-year targets for emissions reductions and annual reporting of progress. Disclosure of transition plans is what will equip investors with the information they need to finance the transition at the speed and the scale required, and you've heard some of that today. Ensuring that we remain competitive in the global economy. And just as an example, if we applied it to the largest 1,102 companies that have an average income of $389 million annually and average assets of almost $5 trillion, and then a year later to another 6,000+ companies, we would actually shift the Canadian economy, but we would leave untouched 98% of all businesses. In other words, we're not trying to suggest a burden on small businesses or micro businesses, but rather that the big players who really do move our economy need to have a plan in place. The second policy change would be to amend the pension benefit standards regulation and really to require that plan administrators under their current obligations to have a written statement of investment policies and procedures, or SIPs as they're affectionately known, determine how their climate resilience policies pertain to the plan's portfolio of investments and loans. So they already have a fiduciary duty to invest the pension fund's assets prudently and impartially, balancing intergenerational interests, people my age, my grandchildren coming forward, in determining both short and long-term risk management investments. So it's really important, though, that they be required to actually put their minds to this, and this policy change would be very significant. And the third also was to press for a rapid development of Canada's green and transition finance taxonomy. It's important to remember this is a classification system. This is not a standard that's being imposed, but rather it is identifying, as 40 other countries have already done, that what will constitute green finance and transition finance. An estimated $115 billion annually is required for Canada's low-carbon transition, and a science-based taxonomy will create the market integrity, clarity, and interoperability globally necessary to accelerate global capital to come and invest in Canada's businesses. Investors are already looking for investment opportunities, and Canada offers resources and expertise in critical minerals, clean tech, and a host of other areas that are sustainable. But without a common classification system of arresting that transition, capital will definitely flow to other jurisdictions that are ahead of us in adopting it. More than 26 Canadian financial institutions already endorsed the Sustainable Finance Action Council's roadmap, and it's important now to get that council in place before the end of the year so that they can do their work. And with those comments, I'll sort of leave you for the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you.